So here is the course agenda. We'll be looking into what is data mining, what is business analytics, what are the various stages in a data analytics or data mining projects. What is R? Overview of machine learning, and then we are going to look into the association rules. What does this association rule mean? How to go about that? We're going to discuss that in a while from now. So until then, let us move forward. All right. Why business analytics has suddenly become the sexiest job of the 21st century? Not sure whether you guys have heard about that or not. Hey guys, are you not able to see my screen? Are you not able to see my screen, guys? I'm displaying a slide which says business analytics. Can see? Able to see? Few of y'all are able to see. Few are unable to see. If you are seeing that my audio and video is not clear, is my voice clear to majority of you guys? Or is there any disturbance? Voice is clear. So guys, you need to check your internet connectivity at your end. Few of y'all are saying that my voice is very clear. Few of y'all are saying that no, it's not good. So please check the internet connectivity at your end, please. I'm using 10 Mbps high-speed broadband, so I believe there should not be any lag from my end. So please check your connectivity at your end. All right, Kashyap, thank you for saying that my voice is very clear. Chandni, thank you for that. So, not sure whether you guys have heard about this particular statement or not from Harvard Business Review, which says data scientist as a profession would be the sexiest profession of the 21st century. If you guys haven't heard about that, let me quickly show you that. So here we go. Harvard Business Review, one of the most premium B schools, right? The best B school, probably, says this. That data scientist would be the sexiest job of the 21st century. And they also make another alarming statement, which says there would be dearth for serious data scientists. The shortage of data scientists is becoming a serious constraint in some sectors. Here is where you have an opportunity to grab with both your hands, right? So undoubtedly the world is speaking about business analytics, data analytics. Why now? Was it not there earlier? Why only now? What could the possible reasons be? The cost of storing the data has come down significantly. Let me ask you this question, guys. Do you know what was the cost of 1 gigabyte way back in 1980? Can someone guess on that? Sorry. What was the cost of 1 gigabyte way back in 1980? Just give a random guess if you do not know on that. What do you think would have been the cost of 1 gigabyte of storage way back in 1980? Anyone? Any one of you? Let me see, there are some answers pouring in. Greater than 50,000 is what Shanta says. Pranay says 5,000 rupees. Amol says $100,000. Kashyap says 20,000. None of y'all is close to the actual figure. $437,000. $437,000. What a number that is. Can you even imagine people spending $437,000? I'm not kidding. You can do a Google search. And to be even precise, this was a price of 1 gigabyte way back in 1980. Wow. If this was a cost of 1 gigabyte, even as of now, as of today, no one would have even thought about business analytics or data analytics. No one would have even thought about big data, right? Forget it. Why do I spend so many dollars to store the data and make some analysis out of that? Can someone guess what is the cost of 1 gigabyte in 2013 or as of now? What do you think is the cost of 1 gigabyte in dollars? If someone can see in dollars. 5,000 rupees. Kashyap, no, it's much less than that. 1 gigabyte. $5 is what Naresh says. Vijay says 5 to 6,000 rupees. No, for 5 to 6,000 rupees, probably you'll get a terabyte. $10. The cost is only 0.05 cents. Not even $0.1 per annum. It is $0.05 as of today, the cost of 1 gigabyte. That is the reason why people have started storing the data left, right, and center. Few years back, they weren't even looking into storing that amount of data because of the cost. Now, cost is not something which people worry about. Since the cost of storing the data has come down significantly, and the space, right, or the size of the hard drive has come down significantly nowadays, people are thinking about storing all the data that they can lay their hands on, using which they can come up with some kind of information, some inferences, which is going to help them increase their business. Right? And cost of processing data, this has increased tremendously. Right? I mean, processing speed has increased tremendously. And the cost of processing has come down significantly. Let me ask you guys this question. Right? iPhone 5, right, today is how many times more powerful in processing than the 1985 supercomputers? Supercomputers, I'm not speaking about the normal computers, right? In 1985, there were supercomputers being used. Can someone say me how many times is iPhone 5 processing power more than 1985 supercomputers? If you guys do not know, let me tell you guys that it was 2.7 times, right? iPhone 5 is 2.7 times faster when it comes to the processing power in comparison to the supercomputers which were used. Right? I'm speaking about the processing speed there. And you all know about the processing or the CPU cost as well, right? When did you last hear about Pentium 1 computer or Pentium 2 or Pentium 3? When did you last hear about that? And how much did it cost way back in 2005 or so to get a PC home? In 1999, right, Naresh? What was the cost of, purchasing a computer of such low processing speed? Probably 25,000 or 30,000, right, for a decent enough computer there, right? Or 40 to 50,000 rupees also. Yeah. Nowadays, you get i7 processing speed, 4th generation, for the same cost. And think about Pentium 1. What you were doing during your Pentium 1 days? You would switch on your CPU, go have a cup of coffee, come back, open your internet browser, go play cricket and come back. By the time you're back, you would see that the necessary page is open there, right? Such a slow processing speed for so much cost. For the same cost, you're getting super fast computers. With these two things changing drastically in the world, we see that there is a lot of data getting generated and also stored. Was data not getting generated earlier? It was getting, not at this pace though. But people were not storing that. Nowadays people are storing that. Since you are storing such huge data, people have started doing a lot of analysis on top of that. And that is where came this new profession to light, which is business analytics, right? Your data scientists do what? Business analytics. Data science, data scientists, right? Business analytics. Think about these as the same names given to the same person, right? People call me Bernie, few people call me Kumar, few people call me with a different name. It all means the same, basically. All right, let us move on and discuss about what are the various stages of analytics, right? If you're doing an analytics project, how would you go about doing that? Or if you're doing a data mining concept, if you're looking into that, how would you go about doing that? The first step in your data mining life cycle is you first understand what is the business understanding, right? What is the business logic? Hey, I see that someone has raised a hand. Who is this? Yeah, Kumar, you have a question? Mandar? Vishwas? Vinay, do you guys have any questions? No? Have you raised your hand by accident or do you have any questions? I believe you have raised your hand by accident, so that's okay. So the first step is you need to understand what is a business problem which the client is facing. And here is where you need to bring in your domain expertise. This is where you need to bring in your industry exposure. This is where you need to bring in your sector exposure to understand what is the underlying business problem. Once you understand the problem, you need to collect the relevant data in order to address that business understanding or business problem. Once you collect the data, now the onus shifts from your business understanding to the data understanding. What is the data looking like, right? You need to understand the data. What are the various variables there? Then you start preparing the data. What do you mean by preparing the data? When I say preparing the data, I mean cleansing the data. For example, let me quickly show you one. Oh, sorry. Let me quickly show you one example there. Give me a minute, folks, while I show you what exactly I'm meaning by cleansing the data. So let me open one of the XML files there. So here we go. All right, look at this. Here is a typical, XML file of a clinical trial which was performed earlier. So you have the various columns like the agency name, source, you have the detailed description, right, about what the disease is all about, right, what kind of medicine are you taking, what drug are you taking, right, all these things. Here is the drug name, intervention type, and things like that, intervention name, right, you have various things available here. So the question here is, how are you going to bring it into a structured format? When I say structured format, can I place all these things in a tabular format? Right? When I speak about, right, data understanding, I mean this. You read everything. You make sense out of that. You understand what are the various variables here. What are the various probably XML tags here. What do you mean by doxorubicin? Right? What do you mean by Rubex? So you need to understand the data first. Once you understand the data, the next thing is data preparation. When you're going to arrange all these XML files in probably a CSV format or a table format. Can someone guess and say me, how many clinical trial data do we have on this website which says clinicaltrials.gov? In 2004, US government has come up with this law which says any clinical trial conducted anywhere across the globe has to be recorded in clinicaltrials.gov if the drug has to pass through your Food and Drug Administration. Look at that. 193,000, 1,93,000 or 193,645, approximately 200,000 clinical trials. Now, how are you going to read each and every file, XML file, right? 200,000 XML files, bring it to a structured format. That is a challenge here, right? Look at this unstructured data here. You have 4 or 5 lines of data. You have a lot of information here. 50 mg per hour, right? 400 mg per hour, 100 mg per hour. What does that mean? How do I bring it to a column format? That is where your tool called R is going to come in handy. So Vinay, data mining is a concept of business analytics. This is one part of your business analytics. That is just one part of your business analytics, right? And once you prepare the data, you do some kind of a modeling there. What kind of modeling? For example, in the clinical trials example, if I provide you the drug name and the disease name which I want to cure by using that particular drug, and if I say, hey, I'm in US, right? If you get these 3 details, it's going to successfully predict and tell you who is the doctor that you need to approach to ensure that this clinical trial using this combination, this drug, this disease in US, go approach this doctor for you to successfully complete your clinical trial. That is a prediction there, right? You can predict multiple things there. Nowadays, there are a lot of dating websites, right? You give your age, that is your first variable. You give your gender, that's the second variable. You give your location, third variable, right? It will help you predict who is the most suitable person for you for dating, right? There are a lot of dating websites available, by the way. I'm not kidding on that. So you can predict all that, right? Given your number of miles a car has been driven, the make of the car, and the variant of the car. Variant meaning, is it a petrol vehicle or is it a diesel vehicle? If you provide these 2 as input, probably I can come to know what would be the cost of the second-hand car. What will be the cost of the used car if I provide these 2 inputs, these 3 inputs? That is your modeling. That is prediction all about. All right? Predicting whether someone will be infected by a disease even before they come to know about that. I'm not sure whether you guys are aware of this example. How many of you all are aware of Angelina Jolie? Yeah, most of you all are. Maxectomy. Maxectomy is, Manish, you know, removal of your organ from your body, right? Statistics, that is Statisticians have predicted that, right? Angelina Jolie would be, getting cancer at a certain age from now. Based on that prediction, she got her double breast mastectomy done, removal of the organ. That is the power of statistics. That is the power of prediction. People are relying on statistics to such a great extent that, nowadays, even before you get a cancer, people can predict whether you can get a cancer or not at a certain age. Based on that, you can change your lifestyle to ensure that you're not affected by cancer. Things like that are happening nowadays. All right. Oh, my bad. What happened? It's not. 1 second, folks. Okay, that's a problem there. All right. Once you build a model, you're going to evaluate the model. Is the model even better for me? Is it accurate? Right? What is accuracy? If I'm predicting that, hey, this person is going to default on the loan, please do not give him a loan. All right. But, what is accuracy of that? Can I even rely on that? For that reason, you have evaluation, wherein you're going to evaluate the prediction model which you have built previously. And it has to be accurate, right? For me to even look into the outputs of that and use it for my business development, right? If you feel that the accuracy is good, then you go ahead and deploy it. You go ahead and deploy it in the real world, right? So this is the typical life cycle of any business analytics project or data mining project. Data mining is a concept in business analytics, widely used, by the way. Here comes R. If any one of y'all is thinking about why R, why not SAS, why not IBM SPSS, why not Stata, why not MATLAB, why not any other statistical tool, why only R? Right? So for those who have these questions popping, let me clarify that. So let me open Google Trends. Yep, and let me show you the comparison between R and the other statistical tools. And why R is so widely searched for. That's R. Let us compare it against SAS head on head and see how the trend is going to look like. Yeah, Jenny, I'll come to your question in a minute from now. So here is R and there is SAS, right? Look at the amount of difference between these two. If you see SAS is slightly dipping there. If you see it in isolation, right, now you'll see that it's dipping significantly from 2011, 2013, 14, 15 and all that. Let us see the forecast. Forecast also says that it's further going to dip there. Want to compare with IBM SPSS? Well, do that. IBM SPSS is far more below your SAS. And now if I bring in R is going to blow away these two competitors. Absolutely nothing. No link actually. Python, yeah, Python is fast picking up, but it cannot pick R in the near future. So there is Python. Python is picking up, but you have 2 million users working on R. 2 million users. It is an open source. All 2 million users are contributing to the development of R. All 2 million folks are contributing to the development of R. And how many people might be working on the development of the various products such as SAS and SPSS? Maybe 10,000 folks in the research and development trying to enhance the product versus 2 million people. Who is going to win the race? Yep. You know now much better. right? I'm not cooking up this data. This is from the Google Trends. Look at the kind of demand which R has. None of the other tools have or are even close to R. Not even 50% close to R. R has 46% of the market share as of today. SAS has only 11% share. That is the pace at which R is progressing. So that is the reason why you can choose R. It's such a simple tool to use, right? Here is a simple tool. Look, I was just working on many other things there, on pulling the data from Twitter and trying to do some trend analysis on a few of the latest happenings there. So let me open R. You can use all the various things there. See, it's a simple tool. 2 plus 2 is 4, right? If I want to assign the numbers 1 to 10, I can do so. If I want to print those numbers to the console, I can do so, right? It's extremely simple language, very simple. If you know English, it's as good as this. Yep, so I'm going to take your questions at the end because, there are a lot of concepts which I need to cover as part of this 1 hour seminar. Vishwas has a question and Jenny had a question, right? I'm just making a note of that. Jenny, I'm going to explain you about what model means, right? And RStudio is free money there. Hey, Vishwas. All right, your question I can take right away, right? R is as simple as writing English statement there. It is as simple as writing English statement. So the good part about R is that you'll have a lot of inbuilt functions, right? Say I'm working on R, I'm working on extracting data from Twitter. I feel that, hey, I'm doing a lot of research, right? I'm doing a lot of research to write a code, right? Once I do a lot of research, what I'm going to do, I'm going to store all these things and send it to our community, the core community, which is going to evaluate my code and see if it can be reused. If they feel it can be reused, they're going to publish it as a package. Package is nothing but collection of functions, code which I've already written there. So most of your job is taken care of. Trust me, it's all about using the packages and getting your job done there. Hey Vijay, I'll take that question later. It's a wider discussion, right? So I'll take that question later. Vishwas has another question, and also I'm an engineering graduate, so I wanted to know the extent of statistics that need to be known. So any program that you generate, any course, any training for that case, they're going to start right from the basics of the statistics. What do you mean by mean, average? What do you mean by median or a mode or variance or standard deviation? They start right from the basics, right? And thereon they take the session forward. So yes, I would say that you need to know the statistics, but any good program is going to start right from the basics. They assume that you're naive to your statistics. Vijay has a question. I'm going to write that down. How to analyze the categorized data. I'll take that question later, Vijay. So in the interest of time, let us move on. What are the various sectors where we can use R? R can be used in telecom industry, right? For example, if I want to predict upfront on who is a customer who might most likely shift from one service provider to another service provider, probably from Airtel to Vodafone, right? So who is the customer who is most likely to move from one service provider to another? That's a churn, right? I'm losing business there. Can someone predict and tell me that, hey, here is person A, he's most likely to switch there. So even before he switches, I'll go to him, give him special offer so that he continues with us and things like that. pharmaceuticals. Can you help me predict on whether a particular drug is going to have an adverse impact or not? Say I'm going to take a medicine with these two molecules A and B, right, to cure my headache. If we take that, and then suddenly if I get fever, then that is a adverse impact, right, or side effect of taking this medicine. I took this medicine to cure my headache. However, the side effect was that I now have fever and body aches. So can you help me predict, even before I release this product in the market, even before I, prescribe this medicine to the patient, can you predict and tell me that, hey, these are the side effects which would come along with the medicine that you're going to take? Can I do that? Financial services. What should the pricing of my premium be? Right, if it's insurance firm, right? What should the pricing be? Think about this example, right? Nowadays, people are wearing all the smart devices, wearable devices. How many of y'all are aware of the wearable devices? How many of y'all are aware of wearable devices there? Well, let me show this example. It's the Time magazine, Dr. Rest. Oh, it's still coming up, just bear with me. So this is the wearable device Jawbone, right? Now, people are predicting on how many calories are you burning, how many hours are you sleeping there, how many hours were you sound sleep, how many hours were you half asleep, right? And how many steps have you taken, thereby how many calories did you burn? Based on all these things, data gets generated, and this data also goes to your insurance companies there. And if you're a person who lives an unhealthy lifestyle, right? You do not sleep for 8 hours, you sleep for only 4 hours, right? You consume calories, say 2000 calories per day, but you only burn 1000 calories. You are the person who would most likely come to me with an insurance claim saying that, hey, I got admitted to the hospital because I have a heart stroke. Why shouldn't I charge you more premium? Why shouldn't I do that? Because you're an unhealthy person, right? Does not mean I'm going to, do a social service for you. I would rather charge you more, right? And that is how the world is progressing nowadays. Life sciences, healthcare. The same example which I've been giving, right? So if you had disease 1 in disease 2 and disease 3 and you have visited the hospital 5 times, right? Disease 3, and you have visited the hospital 5 times, number of visits, and you are a male or a female gender, which location are you from, what is your earning power. If I have all these variables, I can predict on whether you will get admitted to the hospital or not. Right? Your Obamacare, Affordable Care Act says that if a patient comes to you to get his problem resolved, you give him some drug. He goes back. If the same patient gets readmitted, right, because of the same reason, then the company will be sued. The hospital will be sued there. The very law itself says that, hey, be predictive. Do not, give superficial treatments. So you can predict all that based on your past history. If you can bring me your past history, right, on how many times you have visited the hospital, how many kind of diseases you are carrying and things like that, well, people can predict on whether you'll get admitted to the hospital or not in the next 2 years or 3 years. Yeah, Sumit, you have that question. I'll take that question in a while. And then education sector also. So I'll stop there. I'll not get into the theory much because there are a few questions flowing in. I'll take your question in a minute from now. So there are types of learning, supervised learning and unsupervised learning, right? Supervised learning is called as machine learning. That means, for example, Google, Gmail. Everyone must be having your Gmail accounts with you all, right? Few of the emails automatically go to spam. Though you do not put it as a spam, it goes to spam. Why is that so? Right? The system has learned on its own. Maybe when I received a promotional email for the first time, I tagged it as spam. From then on, system learns that, hey, whenever there's a new spam email or new email with the word promotion in that, this particular user does not like that, so let me spam it. What other emails should I spam? When initially this feature was launched, it was very naive, right? And then later on, when people have started spamming few of the emails, probably related to, obscene images contained in the email, or your promotions, or your travel related emails, or your frequent flyer emails and all that, right? Once you spam it, it's going to go and sit in the spam folder of Gmail. And that system is learning on its own. And if the system learns on its own, improves over a period of time, that is called as supervised learning. What is unsupervised learning? Unsupervised learning is all about clustering. What do you mean by clustering? Right? That is what we are here to discuss in this session. So one concept of your unsupervised learning is association or rule mining there. People who have purchased Barbie dolls are 60% likely to purchase a candy bar. People who purchase this have also purchased that. Right? People who purchase toothbrush purchase toothpaste. People who purchase bread also purchase cheese. People who purchase diaper also purchase beer. Now that was a crazy example, but yeah, diaper and beer is an excellent example, right? People in Target, managers in Target, have done this good analysis and they found an interesting insight. What was the insight? People who purchase diapers have also purchased beer, right? And this was done by few of the statisticians in the space of Teradata. Teradata company. Those people have done that for Costco drugstores. That in between 5 to 7, the people who purchase diaper also purchase beer. So here, those are the crazy examples which people have come up with. And then we have this association rules. People who purchase this also purchase that. What is the business decision that you take? Probably you are going to place diaper and beer close to each other in the racks which are close to each other so that people can quickly pick that. Right? Where do I paste my toothbrush and toothpaste? In the same rack so that people pick that together, and people are most likely to pick it, right? So these are the various examples in association rules. Think about your recommendation engines. Whenever you go to Amazon, right, when you search for, say, iPhone 6 there, when you search for iPhone 6, based on the past history, purchase history, or the search history, people who have searched for iPhone 6 have also searched for Samsung Galaxy, for example. Or they have also searched for, say, Windows Mobile there. Based on this history, if someone is going to search iPhone 6, immediately I'm going to pop up these two and say, hey, people who have searched this have also searched that. Recommendation engine. Amazon has the world's best recommendation engine, by the way. Right? So let me take your questions now and then I'll move forward, because we had one question from Jenny. Jenny was asking on what is a model all about? Model is nothing but a prediction, right, about your future or forecasting your future. For example, remember this equation, y is equal to f of x. This is the most important equation when it comes to business analytics, please. Right? Say you want to predict the weight gained, and you have the input variable as calories consumed. So from now on, if someone says, hey, I've consumed 2,500 calories, or I'm consuming 2,500 calories per day, I will be able to effectively predict and say, hey, if you go on the same diet, consuming 2,500 calories per day, you're going to put on another 5 kgs or 5 or 10 pounds of weight. That is called as prediction. You predict something. That is your model there. I did not mean that. I didn't say that, Deep. All right, Vinay, I'm going to show you some coding part there. Even before that, I'll take this next question which Vijay had. Vijay, what is categorical data? I'll come to you, Deep. I have not. Okay, Deep, first let me answer your question. You said that supervised learning is machine learning. You mean unsupervised learning is not machine learning? No, I didn't say that. I didn't say that. Both are machine learning only. But the only thing is, the word machine learning is closely associated with supervised learning. In unsupervised learning, you do not closely associate that word machine learning with unsupervised learning. Right? Okay, now there are a few more questions pouring in. Before that, let me answer Vijay's question, which says categorical data. What is categorical data? And what is your continuous data? Absolutely, you're right on that. So let me read out Vijay's complete question. How do you analyze categorical data? Say, hey, categorical data means data which you cannot divide continuously. For example, I can say that I have one laptop with me, or I can say I have 2 laptops with me. Can I ever say I have 1.5 laptops with me? No, I cannot do so, right? So what kind of analysis can you do on top of that? All sorts of analysis are possible, my dear friend. You can take the mean of that. On an average, these many laptops is what people have. First order business decision there. You can take the median, you can look into you can look into the measures of central tendency, measures of dispersion, right? And I can build a prediction model on top of that using logistic regression. Whenever you have categorical data, right, you tend to use something called as logistic regression there. That's a good part, right? So you can do all sorts of analysis, Vijay, for that case. But it is not, of course, using continuous data, you can do far more advanced analysis, but using categorical data also, you can do most of that. Let me take the next question from Vishwas. Vishwas says, Vishwas says, wanted to know the difficulty of R programming when compared to SAS or SPSS. And there is another question or expectation on what are the advantages and disadvantages of R over other statistical products. And someone wants to see the coding to some extent there. All right, let me take that question now on first various statistical packages, and then I'll come back. There are a lot of questions coming in. So R versus SPSS versus SAS. What is the advantage and what are the disadvantages, right? In SPSS, you know, it's GUI based, graphical user interface, mostly, right? Less of code and then you can get your job done there. But can you do all the advanced statistical things using SPSS? No. Is it extremely flexible? Can you change the code and do or tweak and tailor it to your needs? No. SAS has a language called BASE, SAS BASE, programming language. Which language is more easy, BASE, SAS BASE, or SAS R? R. Why is that so? Because most of the code in R can be reused in terms of packages, right? You install something called as package and then you get the job done there. So it's extremely simple, extremely easy, by the way, right? And R is open source. It comes for free of cost. SPSS and SAS is extremely costly. Your SAS E minor, which is UI based, one license will cost you approximately 1 crore. 1 crore Indian rupees. It's extremely costly. All right. And at any given point of time, right, there are 2 million users in using R. I mean, 2 million users are using R in that community. So it's a wider community. It's the size of, you know, probably maybe 100 such SaaS companies, employees. It's that bigger size there. So if when you post that you have an error, you're unable to get a solution, there will be thousands of people who will be interested in answering your questions. R has 46% of the market share. If you're looking to switch your jobs, if you're looking out for new opportunities in analytics space, right, then think about that. 11% versus 46%. Which one would you take, right? Which route do you want to take? And also, Microsoft has acquired Revolution Analytics. Revolution Analytics is a firm which majorly works on R for enterprises. And Microsoft has acquired Revolution Analytics. So, you know, R will be widely used in most of the companies moving forward. So these are the bunch of advantages of R over the other statistical tools. And there is a question around data scientist is a huge term. How much of business knowledge, programming knowledge, and statistics it consists? I would say it's a mixture, Mandar. It's a mixture. You need to have the business acumen. You need to know that domain knowledge. You need to know the programming knowledge to some extent, right? And then you also need to have statistics. I would say it's an equal mixture of these three, which is going to make a successful data scientist. It's not statistics alone. No, that's a myth, right? Do you need to know strong programming? No, that's a myth. Do I need to have a very strong domain knowledge? That's a myth once again. A right combination of these three is going to make you a successful data scientist. You analyze data, but you do not know in what context. You know the business problem, but you do not have the domain knowledge to, you know, actually go ahead with the programming and things like that. For designing a new machine learning algorithm, what kind of steps I should follow? Okay, that's a bigger subject there, right? It's a 2-hour session which we conduct in, you know, so I'll take that offline maybe. Can R be used for sentiment analysis? Absolutely. R can be used for sentiment analysis, Tanmoy. Any small example given the tight timeline? Okay, let me see whether I can pull out something for you there. Okay. All right, so there is something called as positive word cloud and the negative word cloud, right? This is sentiment analysis. How many people are speaking positive things about you? How many people are speaking negative things about you? Effectiveness, important, improvement, significant, improving, compliment, remission. Someone is healthy. Something is effective. Positive. These are all the positive words. So reading 16,000 XML files, right? These kind of files, reading entire thing there, it's still going, it's still going, it's still going, it's not done. One XML file is so huge, right? And it has a lot of unstructured data in between. Right, look at that. How can I read so much of text from 16,000 files or 200,000 files if I want to take all the clinical trials? So what I do is in R, we can quickly give all those as inputs there, and it's going to read all the files and quickly tell you that what are the positive words there, right? And that is called as positive analysis, right? Sentiment analysis. And then you can also look into your negative cloud, which is all the negative things, right? Negative word cloud. And you can do a quick comparison between positive and negative words there. By the very look of this, I know that there are a lot of negative things going on in the market. Right, so that's about Tanmoy. And who can go for biz analytics? I would say, Sandeep, if you have good development knowledge, you're a good fit. If you have a good business knowledge, then also you're a good fit. There will be different people coming in. No one would be blessed in all the areas, right? There will be people who have strong technical skills or strong development skills. They have to groom their skills around the business part of that, domain knowledge. That is where you need to focus more on. There would be business people coming in like your project managers, right? They already have a lot of domain knowledge. All they have to do is probably spend some time learning statistics and the coding part. Team leader is also. Kashyap has a question, is Hadoop and R related with each other? Hadoop is a different thing, right? You bring in data from, and data is getting generated in what forms? Text, right? Social media. People are writing reviews. There are videos getting uploaded on YouTube. That is also data. There are images getting uploaded on Pinterest. That is also generating data. There are a lot of audio files in terms of music, right? There are a lot of music stores. That is generating data. You have a lot of Wi-Fi logs, you have satellite logs, you have GPS logs. Everything is generating data, right? If I have data coming from those many wide variety of sources, Hadoop will actually help you bring everything to a common structure. R also does that. But if you have extremely high data, right, Hadoop would be the right place for you to cleanse the data, pull the data, cleanse the data, and give it a structure. From there, your statistical tool has to take on either R or SAS or SPSS. Hadoop is basically used to manage your big data. If the data is extremely large, that is when you pitch in. All right. Vishwas has this question, but as a fresher, what may be the expectations of me to be considered for an interview by looking at my resume at an R-trained candidate? What may be the expectation of me to be? Vishwas, see, business analytics with R is a relatively new subject, right? New concept. What is the shortage that the world is looking at? What is the shortage? McKinsey, shortage of data scientists, right? Let me show you that, otherwise make things easier for you. Don't worry, my dear friend. This is not a profession which will ditch you, right? Look at that. There are huge seminars going on across the globe. NASSCOM has recently conducted in Hyderabad here in India. And they say that by 2018, world is going to see a drastic dearth in the skill called as data scientist. 140,000 to 190,000 skills is what we are looking at, the shortage. 1.5 million managers. I mean, this is the kind of talent shortage that we are looking at. Right, so let me take another question. I've completed few online courses on R, Deep Says, like Data Camp, Udemy, but all are beginner standards. So what do you suggest me to do? Be a decent R programmer, tell me this step. Yeah, that is what your Edureka people have already answered to you. The organizer has already answered, right? So this course of Edureka, right, has all advanced concepts, by the way, in R. Alejandro has a question. That's answered there. Wishwas has a question. Seems like that is also answered there. Manish has a question. It's answered there. All right, folks, most of the questions are answered. As a data science, which part of our ecosystem we need to learn? No, there is nothing like that. You need to know end to end, basically, right? Which part of our ecosystem? R is just one ecosystem there. It doesn't have many, what do you call, flavors like your Hadoop has Hive, Pig, right, Flume, Scoop, and things like that. For R, you do not have such things. It's not an ecosystem. And I'm working on Microsoft technologies, so how it will help me work with R. So if you know .NET, C#, and all those languages, right, it'll be extremely easy for you to write the code. RStudio is open source. But statisticians would also draw inferences based upon models and given prediction prescriptions before data science came in, right? Yeah, they were doing, but why did they become relevant in today's world? Because of the advent of the data. Earlier they were doing that, no doubt about that. But how many organizations were having these kind of data sources? Not many. Few years back, how many people had Facebook account? Not many. What kind of companies are working on R? So Jenny, I have told you about the model, right? Probably you have not heard about that. This recording will be shared with you, so you can go through that. Model is prediction model. Prediction model. If I want to predict what my sales will be in the future, I build a prediction model. Model is nothing but a name, that's it. What will that do? It is going to help you predict what will be your sales, who is going to default on my loan, whom should I give the credit card, right? And is he going to default on the credit card, right? Who is going to have what kind of disease given the different diseases that he has or the lifestyle he's living in? What about algorithms? Algorithm is nothing but a code that you write in R. Someone was saying, hey, show me the code. How do you write, right? So let me show you that. So let me quickly show you the association rules, right? There are these kind of packages which are used in R. For example, A rules, association rules. Let me run that. So when you install a package, right, like A rules and things like that, let me show you. It has bunch of functions, predefined functions or code, which is already written in that. If you see this red symbol that says that, hey, I'm installing the package, hold on. If you do not want to install the package, you click on the red symbol. What is happening now? A package is getting downloaded, which contains the code which people have already written, which has been approved by the core community of R. And do I need to write the code once again? No, I can just reuse this. I'll show that while this is downloaded. Let me take your questions. Where can I find the details on commonly used R packages? Please recommend the book to follow Shanta. Rather than book, right, R has a lot of information available there. So I would request you to look into R packages only. There are a lot of packages available. Look at that. Just click on that packages there on your R. There'll be a lot of predefined or pre-installed packages. These are the various packages. If you want to read each and every package, click on that. There's a big description there, right? You can click on packages. Once again, let me take example of Corellogram, right? It has another bunch of examples, right? There are a lot of such things. ggplot, you have another thing, right? You can click on description file there. There's a lot of description about the ggplot there. There'll be a lot of examples available. So it's an ocean. Entire ocean is available for you here. MapReduce, no, MapReduce is Hadoop system there. You need not even know about Hadoop ecosystem, right? Just the basic understanding would do. You need not even know about the map and reduce because data scientist job is different. You do not get involved in getting the data from the various sources and cleansing that to a great extent. Your job is in building, your skills lie in building the prediction models, help the business grow, right? Is there a professional certification? No, Vishwas. If we compare Hadoop and R, which is having better trend and scope for job, Hadoop is different and your R is different. Hadoop is into your data storage, processing the data. R is into building your prediction models. Yep. Or do we have package already exists for a function you're trying to write? I mean, is there a standard naming convention for packages, right? You know, when you install this R is free for install. When you install, there are predefined, you know, packages which people tend to frequently use, which get downloaded automatically. You can start accessing those. Yes, but Hadoop is also having different ecosystem for analyzing the big data and R. Hadoop cannot build a prediction model for you, Kashyap. Cannot build a prediction model for you. Hadoop cannot do clustering for you, right? It cannot run a linear regression model for you. So what are the basic classes in R related to objects, right? There are various things such as vector, list. You have matrix, you have a data frame and things like that. It's a different topic altogether. So let me load this package there. You know, once you install a package, all you need to do is load the package there. Once you install this package, here is a command, you load this. Someone was asking me to show how easy is it to, you know, use R. So R also has a lot of inbuilt data sources, right? If you just do that command, data in the brackets, you'll see a lot of data files, data sources, right? Which are there in R inbuilt for your practice. All you need to do is load that particular data set by using this command. I'm loading the groceries data set, right? Once you load that, you can look into the summary of that, right? It's going to give you a summary of the data, how many transactions, right? How many people have purchased. You know, for example, let me show you here, even before we, so here is a good example, right? Hey, people who have purchased OJ, that is orange juice, have also purchased soda. People who have purchased milk and orange juice have also purchased window cleaner. People who have purchased orange juice have also purchased detergent. People who have purchased orange juice and detergent have also purchased soda there. So these are the various combinations, right? Based on those, you can, you know, come up with some kind of rules which says, hey, do you know what? Stack orange juice and soda together, because people are purchasing orange juice, are most likely to purchase soda there, because in most places they are doing so. So you come up with those kind of association rules basically, right? And look at that. When you draw that, right, you come up with these kind of patterns. Orange juice and soda are most likely purchased together than any other two items in the list, right? You come up with those kind of rules, and then you have these kind of statistics which says I will be getting thousands of such transactions. Which transactions do I need to really look into? So based on your support, confidence, and lift values, you pick up the topmost things. For example, this. I'm looking into the lift ratio, the topmost lift ratio, or the topmost confidence level and support, and then that rule will become significant for me. Probably the first rule might say, hey, people are purchasing orange juice and milk are purchasing your probably detergent, for example. So you can come up with all those kind of association rules. Clustering is grouping of similar things together, like our it's already answered there. So R is limited in terms of your big data, right? When you have humongous data, then R tends to crash. That's the limitation. However, what you can do is you can increase the memory. It's limited. R is limited based on the memory that you have. If you have RAM, which is of say 64 GB and things like that, then it's going to make sense to process huge gigabytes of data. Otherwise, it might tend to crash. Right? And the solution is given there. Try to execute using Hadoop framework and then try to import that. Another question is around, all right, Shanta, your question is answered there. Can we set up the R on commodity hardwares? Of course. All the hardwares are commodity nowadays, right, Kashyap? The cost of the hardware has decreased significantly. So yeah, nowadays it is a commodity. Yes, it can be installed. You can set up and use it on any of the hardwares. You can use it on Linux, you can use it on Macintosh, you can use it on Windows operating systems also. Any more questions, friends? So are you asking me that, can we install R in different machines simultaneously, start using that? I don't think so. You can do in that way, but yes, you can install in multiple machines. Yes, that you can do. You can install on the cluster of machines. Vijay, you need not have any experience in R or business analytics to do this program, right? This business analytics in R session provided by Edureka assumes that you do not know anything, and the concepts are taught right from the basics. You start off right from what is business, what is analytics, things like that. Best ML book, if you can recommend any other sources. Machine learning with R, you can try that, the machine learning with R. Any guidances for hardware requirement? No. Usually how much time it takes to master R with stats? It will take 1.5 months or so, but again, it depends on the amount of time that you are investing. Right? But to be at a normal pace, to come up to a certain stage, right? You need to spend 1.5 to 2 months there. But Cannot do parallel processing. No, you cannot do parallel processing like Hadoop, right? You cannot do that. Is Stata or R good for econometric modeling? It's R. You can do econometric modeling here also in R. You can do that, Sumit. I don't know R and stats. Is it a good idea to become a data scientist? It's a relatively new concept here in the world. It's a relatively new concept. No one knew data scientist as a profession also just 2 years back. It has just picked up. So everyone is new to R and stats. Most of them. Looking at the kind of shortage we are going to see, it's the most happening profession, and yes, you can pursue that. What are the statistical analysis would you cover in business analytics in R? So Bhuvaneshwari will look into using R. We'll look into the elementary statistics right from there. Descriptive statistics, your data visualization using R, looking into your box plot, histogram, rug plot, and all that. And then we will look into data mining concepts, unsupervised learning, wherein you look into association rules, you look into k-means clustering. Then we move on to linear regression, logistic regression, and then you get into, data mining, supervised learning there. We can do parallel processing using Domino and H2O. Vinay, I'm not sure whether you're speaking about Lotus Domino servers there, IBM Lotus Domino servers, or I'm not sure what you're speaking about there. Vinay. Vishwas, approximate duration of preparation required to try for opportunities. It all depends on for an average user, a student, right? I would say 2 months. Data scientist obviously is in huge demand. Rajendra. Some good sites were on. So Shanta, what you can do is, there are a lot of websites. Basically, you can look into R, Stack Overflow also has a lot of information, right? Yes, Vijay, this particular course, Business Analytics with R, focuses majorly on R, right, to give you that additional edge. Gyaneshwar, you can just search Business Analytics with R, Statistics with R. There are a bunch of books, right? And every book is superior in its own respect. So I cannot suggest any one book or few books there, but there are plenty of that. Duration and the course fee, probably Business Analytics with R includes your statistics also. All the domains have equal importance. Yeah, financial domain would be good, energy sector, life sciences, healthcare, retail, wherein likes of Amazon, Flipkart, your eBay, things like that, prefer a lot of data scientists. Well, there are a lot of opportunities, Vijay, in healthcare sector. I've shown you one example from healthcare sector only, right? So there are a lot of opportunities in healthcare sector. So Sumit, you need to know one of the statistical tools, and I would suggest R, and you need to know statistics and data mining. All these three are included in this program. Looking into the market demand, they have composed this program. Vijay Edureka provides online training. Yes, Manish, session is over. It was for 1 hour. It's 1 hour of 20 minutes now. All right, folks, thank you so much for attending the session. Hope it has given you some insights on what business analytics is and how it's going to help you in the long run. Thank you so much.